Hey y'all, God has gotten me to the point where I cannot tell him no. Like, whatever he tells me to do, I just do. So let me turn this down. I'm playing some instrumentals in the background. But God has a word. The way how I know he wanted me to come on here today is because he repeated himself twice. He said, Habbukkah. He said Habakkuk twice. And this is a word that he's been preparing me for a few days now. So we're in the book of Habakkuk, and there's a lot of reading. He wants me to read a lot of scriptures. So he did speak to me, and he first told me that your enemies, they haven't learned. Back in May, I had posted a video, like a warning video, and he's saying that your enemies, they're still at it. They haven't been taking heed to the warnings that God has been giving them. He said pride. He said that they're paying money, like witch doctors and stuff like that. They're going broke all to see your downfall. He said it won't work. Their hands cause delays, but God is removing the chains from you, and their freedom is now being taken. Then he said justice and even exchange. And then he was telling me that this month, July, this is the month of completion. And he said that he's wrapping things up and he will be moving us into the next level. Right? So he has me in the book of Habakkuk. I can't pronounce his name, but it's Habakkuk. And I have a lot to read. So I'm going to start off by reading. It's going to start off with Habakkuk's complaint. And Habakkuk was basically asking Lord, how long, O Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen? Violence is everywhere, I cry, but you do not come to save me. Must I forever see these evil deeds? Why must I watch all this misery? Wherever I look, I see destruction and violence. I am surrounded by people who love to argue and fight. The law has become paralyzed, and there is no justice in the courts. The wicked far outnumber the righteous, so that justice has become perverted. And then the Lord replied, and he said, look around at the nations, look and be amazed. For I am doing something in your own day, something you wouldn't believe, even if someone told you about it. I am raising up the Babylonians, a cruel and violent people. They will march across the world and conquer other lands. They are notorious for their cruelty and do whatever they like. Their horses are swifter than cheetahs and fiercer than wolves at dusk. I'm gonna skip some of this. He said, but they are deeply guilty, for their own strength is their God. Lowercase g, their God, not our God. All right, he said, because, in Philippians 4:13, it says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So you see the difference between their God and our God. He said, but they are deeply guilty, for their own strength is their God. And the Habakkuk said, O Lord, my God, my Holy One, you who are eternal, surely you do not plan to wipe us out. O Lord, our rock, you have sent these Babylonians to correct us, to punish us for our many sins. But you are pure and cannot stand the sight of evil. Will you wink at their treachery? Should you be silent while the wicked swallow up people more righteous than they? Are we only fish to be caught and killed? Are we only sea creatures that have no leader? Must we be strung up on their hooks and caught in their nets? rejoice and celebrate? Then they will worship their nets and burn incense in front of them. These nets are the gods who have made us rich, they will claim. Will you let them get away with this forever? Will they succeed forever in their heartless conquest? So in my notes I wrote, God would allow the wicked to be deceived into thinking that they have an advantage over you for a season. But they don't realize that they are being used by God to punish you temporarily. He will temporarily allow evil people to prosper. God is a just God, and therefore justice will prevail, and so will the godly. So everything that you're experiencing right now is temporary. In chapter 2 it says, this vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. And these are God's words. This is his second reply. He said, look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to God. Wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many peoples. But soon their captors will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, what sorrow awaits you thieves? Now you will get what you deserve. You've become rich by extortion. But how much longer can this go on? Suddenly your debtors will take action. They will turn on you and take all you have, while you stand trembling and helpless. Because you have plundered many nations, now all the survivors will plunder you. What sorrow awaits you who build big houses with money gained dishonestly. You believe your wealth will buy security, putting your family's nest beyond the reach of danger. This is a lot of reading, but in chapter 3 it speaks about. In chapter 3, it shows you how the wicked were being used. And in the end, how God rescues his people and justice is served. So it says, his coming is as brilliant as the sunrise. Rays of light flash from his hands, where his awesome power is hidden. When he stops, the earth shakes. When he looks, the nations tremble. He shatters the everlasting mountains and levels the eternal hills. He is the eternal one. If you read a little bit down, it says, you marched across the land in anger and trampled the nations in your fury. You went out to rescue your chosen people, to save your anointed ones. You crushed the heads of the wicked and stripped their bones from head to toe. With his own weapons, you destroyed the chief of those who rushed out like a whirlwind, thinking Israel would be easy prey. So God is saying that your enemies, they feel like they have an advantage over you. They feel like, they're getting away with what they're doing. But little do they know that God is about to come in and stop everything. God is about to come in and put an end to their wickedness. So he wants me to read Nahum chapter 1, verse 2 and 3. And it says, the Lord is a jealous God, filled with vengeance and rage. He takes revenge on all who oppose him and continues to rage against his enemies. Our enemies is the Lord's enemies. Anyone who's coming against us and trying to stop what God is doing in our lives is also his enemies. It says, the Lord is slow to get angry, but his power is great, and he never lets the guilty go unpunished. If you're someone who has been dealing with the attacks of your enemies, just know that it's about to come to an end. Like I said, God is coming through and he's wrapping things up. He's bringing things to an end, okay? So I hope this word bless whoever it is for, and I will see you in my next video.